just want to start this video off by saying that I know this movie wasn't made for people my age. I know it was made for kids and I fully get that. But there are plenty of examples of kids movies being good, so I'm not giving this movie a pass on that. Space Jam: A New Legacy is a sequel to Space Jam, this time starring LeBron James, and is in theaters and on HBO Max, and I'm here to talk about it, so let's get to it. Superstar LeBron James and his son Dom get trapped in digital space by a rogue computer AI named Algorithm. To get home safely, LeBron James teams with Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and the rest of the Looney Tunes squad in a high-stakes basketball game against the Goon Squad. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. In my reviews, I discuss what I liked, what I didn't like, and then my overall thoughts. Now, I went into this movie only seeing the first trailer one time, and I purposely disregarded everything else that came out about this movie. And even though I didn't even want to see the movie, I gotta admit that even though I didn't think the movie was good, it wasn't all bad either. As far as what I did like about the movie, I did like the animation. It was cool to see 2D animation because you don't really see that too often in modern movies, but it was also cool to see the Looney Tunes in that 3D live action type style too. I also thought the animation and the special effects with the Goon Squad was pretty cool too. And even though the jokes were corny and didn't really land for me, I gotta admit that there were a few jokes that did make me laugh. Most of which was done by Donald Duck, who was actually my favorite toon in the movie. It's been a while since I've seen the first Space Jam, but I think he was my favorite toon in that movie too. And this might not be the popular opinion, but I did like Don Cheadle as the villain in this movie. And I say popular opinion because I don't think there's gonna be too much middle ground with his performance. I think most people are either gonna like it or they're gonna find it really irritating. His performance with this character is really over the top, and it looks like he's having a lot of fun playing this type of role that he doesn't normally play, but this isn't something that everybody's gonna like. Now, as far as what I didn't like about the movie, it's pretty much everything else. Now, before I get into the negatives of this movie, let me just take a second to say that I'm not comparing this movie to the original. That video comes later. But what I will say is that this movie does have flaws, some of which are pretty glaring. First and foremost, the acting of LeBron James was not good. It was actually pretty bad. His line delivery definitely needs work. It was evidently clear that there was no audition process for this movie. He purely got this role because he's the best basketball player in the world. And before somebody goes to my comment section and says, that's probably why Michael Jordan got the role in the first Space Jam 2, that may be true, but at that time, Michael Jordan had already done a whole bunch of commercials, and even though that's not the exact same thing, he definitely had more experience in front of the camera, which is why if you just compare acting performances, I think most people would pick Jordan over LeBron. But what's funny though is that when LeBron turned animated and it was just his voice acting, he actually did a really decent job. A way better job than when he was actually on camera, which kind of makes you wonder, was the animated portion of this movie always a part of the plan, or was it put there to kind of get LeBron off camera? Something else that I didn't like about the movie, but I will admit that it's probably just me, was that I really couldn't concentrate on the basketball game with all the cameo characters in the back. It was actually pretty distracting when it cut to a scene where you could see people in the crowd, because instead of paying attention to the basketball game, I was trying to spot characters from other movies in the crowd. But like I said, it was probably just me. I know I should have been paying attention to the game, but being a movie buff, that's what caught my attention. So in conclusion, this movie's kind of strange because it clearly wasn't made to be critically appealing. Probably the best way to describe this movie would be like if a kid just took all their toys and started playing with them and had no consideration of whether or not these characters are supposed to interact with these other characters. In their mind, they have a Ninja Turtle, a Transformer, and Batman, and their only limitation is their imagination, which is why this movie is going to massively appeal to a young demographic, but trying to look at it through adult eyes, the flaws are really going to stand out. The best way to watch this movie is with your family so that your kids can enjoy it and you can cherry pick what you might like. But the goal with that is going to be to spend time with your family, not to particularly watch a good movie. But like I said before though, it's kind of hard to cut this movie that much slack because there are plenty of examples of kids movies that are still good to adults. All that being said, unless you're watching this movie with a bunch of kids, I'd say this movie is cool to watch if there's nothing else on TV. So that's my review of Space Jam: A New Legacy. If you've seen it already, what did you think? If you've seen both Space Jam movies, which one did you like better? Leave a comment below and let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching. If you like what you're seeing, hit that thumbs up and click that subscribe button to see what's coming next.